We told each other this.
Told the guy.
Not from no, they did.
You come by Jablock and do
Yellow Lion and do this.
Palace.
I think to short. Cream.
Nangcho Rinpoche ma ye pa ma ye ki pa nyam pa me pa tong kong ne kong Nangcho Rinpoche ma ye pa ma ye ki pa nyam pa me pa tong kong ne kong Chenpo to the Nyingthik, Zoni Mam Chenpo, Majaka, Parkata, Nansen to Hirmodo, Tumba Turje, Janla Sorvande, Jagar Benjan Golaka, Bemalin Tokala, Tatavan Sundukana, Urjan Bojela Sorvande, Roman Jujin, Corone, to Sonji Conjung, Rosan Kukuman Sultan. Tabla Shabla Sorande, Sundunga Chandra Chejin Chen, Yasome Poncheva, Jalaso, Semchen Tand, Yerda Dachena, Tandanam Jenun Tatarda, So, Ruanam Carboniam, Semchen Tamji, Tendelana Mefa, Yontabazo, Sunji Juko, Jengo Pashanan, Chonchen Cho, the 2 year December, Conhisamba Chu, Sita. Dzogpa Chenpo Longchen Nyingthik ngontu Trin Kongson Lam Hyalong Chahi Ndakam Mengo Powa Magam Songji Chose Tangatso Chi Cherejudo Ni Chulu La Kro Chenpo Chik Yin Pu Ujite Chik Te Puga Tsoma Zimo Tsesa Yam Kong Namba Puga Tsoma Te Non De Dena Nyen Kyugu Mundu A Tandi Zo De Machi Ki Tsemo Tsero Zo Shadjala Yuru Zo Na Yapo Re Cherejudo Kochu Nyen Nyen Mundu Tani Yamba Ti Nyen Dunken Tsoma La Cherejudo Chi Tu Dena Kong Namba La Dipa Nipa Yapo Yungu Mare Tandi Zo De Mocha Natso Nganji Korni Korku Nomina La Tsemo Tsechuna Kaba Yoshuri Mato Yondi no La Kashi Cherejudo Chi Nyen Yon Cherejudo Tetse Shindon Kenji Yuna tela tire to chigyon ti yen madi di zo dua tene zo nga cho chi se gro chi ta chi zo ni to kor chi mun de puzian bugo cho ko cho la zemo zi ji ta hi zo hyolo la yaw na yaw shu je tu ji che tene powa de tire zo ko zo lam cha hi ria na ta ko zo lam kyang on da la thom shwe mo ro thom non gung ro nyamne uji chala po chop se chaji ko to sam yo le to zo de tan da nyalong po chop se tan po wa magam songji je ch sina chok ndakama menga ndaka menga je na yo chok tan de chire ju do mi na poke ko thoni ching den de ju sona nin de he je le bi yo tar ti yo shu re goni mi do na mom bondo la turje la person dipoche la jis la person Derki kamla tanki lapor ton so la me la chance à l'eau tati di ngo chujute den man den mundu de hizumas gono mundu I just to read Tibet first Homachi, okay? Homachi is like maybe not necessarily in English. You have French and English. Supreme is your compassion, action for the confused beings. Supreme is the way you are embraced great evil doers as your disciples. Supreme, you are the skillful methods with the hard to tame. Peerless teacher at your feet I bow. The explanation not necessary. Powa magam sonji tersider. Transference of the consciousness, the instruction for the dying Buddhahood without meditations. Then Ndakama Mengo said, Ndakama said, Manolam, Katongi Shupanojeka, the Nala Po Eva Shield, Tonala, then Buna Po Miram Caps La, Tandakama said, Mdrochi, so Mdrochu Captainala. Machere Sechenina the Sindodon Shumaniga Partanala Mdrochu, Radio Patika Tanala. Teacher Meno Gumbugupa, Sonjizik, Tuchul Reso. That the church I'm just says like here is like a transference of the consciousness, the instruction for the dying Buddhahood without meditation. It is a kind of we are like all the dissolutions, all the like kind of the process of in this life is finished. Then it's like just before we are completely stopped in this life, we go into and the next. Between there is like very, very important. That moment we can do transference to our consciousness, to maybe it's like good destinations. That is. Then it's like first the 5 kind of the transference. Chenpo la yena ngati. Rapchu kutawa jinde jumpowa, Ndino Kisho Sonju Kumpowa, Tamatak Semi Tujim Powa, Tamar Pandishi Sanden Jipoa, Shimbo Jinzun Tuji Jojum Powa, Nayu Deso. Then the 5 kind of the transference. There are the 5 different kind of the transference of the consciousness. Supreme transform through the Dharmakaya, through the seal of the view. And middling transference to the Sambhogakaya through the union of the generation and perfection phase. Then is the lower transference to the Namanakaya through the immeasurable compassions. Then ordinary transference using 3 metaphors. Transference the perform for the dead with the hook of the compassions. Then tela tombo rapchu kutawa jinde jumpoa nas sendala niru machu patawa manor pa jalla hihi gomdi hepa nam chuki tse kadok chechu ju sonamni indo ripnela tente chukulono poa te yenusondua. That is supreme transference through the Dharmakaya, through the seal of the views. This one, the people who have developed establish the familiarity with the unmistaken view of the infabricated natural state during their lives, can at the moment of the death put into the practice the essential point of the space and awareness on the secret path of the primordial purity, teaching and to transform the consciousness into the expanse of the Dharmakaya. Tantela raptava chuk jinde jum powa sejinde chuk jinde jum powa de nindu jeredo Nangcho Monlam wula hienchi Bardos sang kabla chuk katsansa sanse chenjik ndikam danala tsindala nilu machu tawa seju nilu machu tawa te kana yole rechna nilu machu tawa te kare rung sang chunya tela segundu ta shuru kindi noman toda tomchi yori mere ndo denbatri ma yole mare jeri tu purndi ing tsawa rung sang se tsan zonte ndonan korwa yana ko rung sang re nyumdi yana ko sang re sang le mato sonji yu yogu mare sang le mato korwa yu mundu sang le mato nyumdi yu mundu tozuna jeri tu ta sang la tadu sang nilu machu tawa ta machu pa rong la tani sende yopa jirengoto mepa jirengoto ulpo jirengoto kanda jirengoto sende zachi roji te manor pa jalla hi gomdi jepa se ne jere di lamo mengo tengo undu tawa se te kar sena ti taundu tanala taunus ku yorji tankendo tahyani ga yole marite ti taundu tanken se jundwa ngache samayna sama sanken 통캔 ndrokenjo ken koron tago taodo tona tahiato tahi inse mepachi tonsum wachim tonyona tekap tenala jeredo tinilu machupa tela zombores machu nembare se payu wachi do zombores su language ma ji gemage to konyon monza mepako tonsum wachi ko totana machup toloyana tela jeredo terton kamalimba Tarti shipa sale shikeva, te chorongo to sona, teni chuk quando zombu compro, teni chuk togre, sondo, tinilu machu passaged. Per nature do com number, tasa yumu somako, nilu machu pa, sendito, machu passaged, te tombani rezegona, tendigu mare, cheta hondo. Te tombani maya, worsa tofa redena, tokta hondo, tem tofa maya. 동반마 똑치 이긴 탈린 대송 standard직 코닐루 마주 조주 마자 빠직 삼삼아 밀루 마주 만달아 타마르 히파세고 용 요리 타마르 히파세스테 뭐차가 나추 남죠 소수 히고 타마르 히파 테마레 코루 나초라 예니 요직 코롱 그 센트 밀루 조주 마자 빠직 베나체르도 지금 포치 연나 코롱 조주 마자 Decere sonji zombo ya zombo mato seten bi ner mato gamba zombo zerje mata pati koron la kere to maju piti ni narmate karere sana senten la mati kontani alu choron ko ni luten dero setjo perna nzumo nzugoro tan zuyona ti khoto noni chu photo dengni chu sejo ngajo kere jina mak cha to go lam kaki chugu puto te lam ndam se chule te je lam de aje ndara ji rendu yasan du samje chi khaso ngaso chele do henin do soso ron yeshi shoyo pase ron soso ko non ko ripase gana sang ndara ji rendu samje re te ma thag mari jogna jog thag mari labna lab thag yo mari tin nilu maju tawate ma pachi gamdi yejite ha chongkar chembore te gamdi yapo he thar sona phonaming sona se te gamdi he sona ngochage chere to bokhawa konje jakarna la truthub namba chere to khipa namba lagala tse chigla gis toya zomcho te gamjane de yoreda te gamdi nilu machu pa te suwand cherje ka tahi tera Tozo de tana tito tawa tito yamo chi nyom tana te nyo gogo mandu drop gogo mandu pa zan drogo ta chu gogo tana jen zongo chi gogo do jen zongo de sere tana lama zongo chi gogo do de te roma nyom yoken chi do jipa zongo chi senden ka lama ta te so nga cho chere do nga cho tan tan re ma to chi lama ta chen do tanda chi ka kandan ni 100% nilu yenchi manchi tagogore tere nga cho chere do nilu machu pase sonji chom den de nilu machu pa to ni sonji chom den de reso ronjen sayena pe na chere do tronse gepo gemo chi yana go tanda cholore nilu machu pa to sona te sonji re tere chere cho gepo gemo se onjo ma te sonji tsare to zo nilu machu tawa mano pa te jalla chezi chi nasi china lama rila tata tenin chukka chena kadok chechu ju songla nese chukka ma se tanal ndo kadok tong chechu se jite nganjur ima jiri do tasik jiri ka tok se jite tata ka nilu maju pa tela ka ni topa yeni topa thoma ni topa se chon nga chu sen ko nongdana nilu yiji dehi nimbo te nde togo motok se chon thoma ni uni hena jiri do khurdi ni yirin duwa the kere se chanchina koronla sonji se yogmare senchen se ji yogmare senchen sonji se tanyete yogmare nilu koru ngokala tela kere se to kadok se kadok tela kani toson tela khachi ku yong tanda samo kani tokpare do korwala kandi chon zure se te kere to tanye ku pa dro tokpa no ji kani tokpa se go re ma to te tog ma to se mo yogma kondi ning yiri durwa korwa mare nyongdi mare yena kondi nyongla te yo chuchu kadok seji te yudro kadok chimbu yono ni sura korwa yong chugre nyongdi yong chugre nika yong chugre te yong mamanda kadok tenyala korwa yong mare nyongdi yong mare ta chechu seji te tela kadok ta yong tnala kadok ta yong tna chechu sena 제레도 녀momba 제트 요토 디바 먹게와 접바 간테 요나 디 따와테 또 소나 깨치 파트게 제로 비로 페나 제레도 까닥도 생각 니르 따와테 또 소나 머세니 제레도 까로 몽고 파다 레 먹게마 마히 손도 괜나 깨치 토마토 손 진로지 프로다마테 요레라 타그 틱추스 피 테카르 영림볼라 미스터 로그 파치 손 진로지 튼다 디소니 잉세지 때 가르리 세진지나 잉세지 도와 잉세지 때는 추니비 잉 생도 따따 니루 마추고 잉 동바냐 세지 때라 타니 잉세지 때라 장에바 야랑 좀 말래 나초 제르도 잉 세운드나 그 남파 노연는데 들라 잉세 대 릭바 샘 남시 초제 도서 좀 샤랑설을 때 그런 제르도 된데 말 된데 저도 티넬라 땡티 추쿠론도 포바이세 당아츠 제르도 남주 추쿠 콘도 좀보 세스 추쿠 콘도 좀 우니즈나 추쿠 콘도 좀바 주 카토 공요 요그 마레테 연나요 생 마주 닐루 나르마 데비 제르도 테 파체세로 that is a concern tala 추쿠 세 멘티 타워 다 추쿠 콘도 좀보 롱 세자tinga 추쿠 콘도 좀보 롱잖아 지 추구 건도 좀부터 무슨 상관들이 건도 좀부터 제 온거잖아. 때 말에 추구 건도 좀부터 인세도 생각 니르고 추니 때라 타니에 떠버. 다 추구 롱 타나 나초체도 넘죠. 모레 그래 다다 생 나오실 턴소나 tani sonji tsarson powa yemba chiri pardo yemba gogyolma to chugulon powa tetawa yanson dua. Okay, I'm just to tell a little bit in English, okay? In English, this supreme transference through the Dharmakaya, through the seal of the views. Now it's like the people who have developed and established familiarity with the unfabricated view. Unfabricated, this is very, very important. Unfabricated means it's like not exaggerated. For example, we say it's like the natural state. We at the beginning there says how to say so. the supreme transference to the Dharmakaya. The meaning of the Dharmakaya, it is the how to say, the unfabricated natural state. This natural state is the meaning of the Buddha nature, the nature of the mind. When we are really to look at our mind, and that is the look at this looker itself. At that time, you cannot to say this is the samsara or nirvana, positive, nirvana, how do you say, positive or the negative. It is like kind of the source of the everything. Patrul Rinpoche's advice to the Konzon Kyuja says the root of the samsara, it is the samsara and nirvana, it is your mind. That is our like kind of the nature of the reality, or it is like kind of the Buddha nature. Itself is go beyond the samsara, nirvana, but itself is the source of the both samsara and nirvana. When we are realized that our own nature, our own potential, our own realities, our own jewel, to realize it, then we are in the Buddhahood. And therefore, we need to tame or to make the familiarity of our own nature realities. It is not kind of the easy without kind of to study, without a teacher or without a guide. But maybe once it's like kind of not that complicated. Why? Because we don't need to buy, we don't need to collect, we don't need to search something else in our heart, in our minds. But one is there's very important conditions. We need good supreme teachers. Some is like kind of the qualified teachers. Maybe teacher itself has some experience, and also this the teaching of the pit instructions. There is uninterrupted of the lineages, and this kind of qualified teacher we need to rely on again and again, and to ask to confirm, to really precisely, decisively in your inside. Maybe when you encountered supreme or the qualified teachers, maybe if you are the fortunate student, suitable like kind of the contain, you meet together, maybe give like the teachers give you instructions, or that they give you all the pit instructions. Maybe that moment you inside some your individual experience, you cannot talk, you cannot describe, you cannot to say it, but in your individual, the awareness can experience it. And therefore here is like, when we are moment of the death, you have familiarities, then it says that can at the moment of the death put into the practice the essential point of the space. Essential point of the space. It's our true nature of the reality. It is like same as the space. Space is, if you say existence, space not existence. Space is not existence. All the five elements in like kind of all the like different world is comes from the space, and therefore we say it's like kind of the space. The essential point of the space. That means our nature of the realities, and awareness on the secret put of the primordialism is awareness on the secret path of the primordial purities. Primordial purities, normally we in Tibet often we use phonetic, like Catholic said. The primordial is inherently and like initially. It is the kind of, you can't to say that it is samsara, nirvana, and the initially or the inherently or the primordially, or the true nature of, that is like the basic, liberated, and the alpha purity, we normal to say that one. This one is our nature is even the trillions Buddhas not necessarily to make something good. Itself is good. And also it's like trillions of the limitless, the evil sentient beings is cannot to destroy it. And therefore we say it's like the primordial purity, it is sometimes we call the Vaja mind. Dorji Cheretse Chenjina, Semse, Tandase, Hirapse, Yehise. Primordial beauty and the Techu. Techu is like the view of the alpha purities. Techu normally you know that Techu means cutting through. Cutting through means if you familiarity for the alpha purities and it can destroy the one moment or the obscuration of the defilement, obscuration of the cognitive. And also it can to destroy the 84,000 like the afflictions. And therefore we call the the Techus and transform their the consciousness into the expanse of the Dharmakaya. Expanse means natural expanse, Buddha nature of the expanse. That is normally says the Dharmakaya means Dharmakaya is the representative of the natural expanse, no shape, no color. But when we need to communicate, there is one Buddha statue is like naked. That is we normally call the Dharmakaya. It is the representative of our nature of the realities and like this. Then the Tawa Jinde Powa Sendu Jutere, Tawa Jinde Powa de la Chuku Londo Powa, they said, Tatandi Powa Gorum de Yondu, Chuku, Long, Turku Som Sondua, Chuku Powaina, Taware, Talong Powaina, Hezo, Herum to Zorum Latani, Nargo Gab the Chim Pendul Gio. Then it gets to the Namjan Rachina, Tamati Truk, Zarjum Powa Silver, Tatrukum Powa Rachina. 제리도 직 소수 희고를 연바지다 타마 때 쭉짜리용 테라 롱던던 데시 신된 좀 포와지 연던도 투지 쪽좀 포와세 다금 포와 연바 섬요를 단디값다 rat 타와테 rat디 포와 라타바 진데 좀 포와세 추금 포와세리데 연지 만지 나서 총에 띠다 단이 그 자자서 흉무근 간 직종에 저와 맞박바데 토라 레프 갑테나라 띵에 카츠 제모지 히바노니 롱롱 소나 손지 멜라 손지 좀 된디 마서 되나 아마도 아파글람나 초 손지 마르즈 나슈마치나 공용 조고요 마리 로고글 때리도 롱 갱커도 롱 크고레 때마초 노마 손지 박 체추 추데 체추 지레디도 때리도 추추 연바서이나 대파 고세요 돈는 거서 다 돈는 거서 다 대파 더더 효고도 추 라를 소바도 라 초크르주로를 라 텐고 대송지 좀 된데 송 문두아 니초라 타르 탑찬 타라랑라로 리시바지 이세 운이 대바렌도 제레도 사마테 나손다날 사마 좀보지 예티게 타촌노 사마 링케 용모지 그 리용이 쪼치동도나 용 아디 사마테 혐보요 응모요 따베 Dots no gente yo as o yat samaten tasol yo mazuna pet on pet ho mandua samaten tanal pranda ki pongana jala nduni trobuto ndu samate satsana zonte roma pet ho ndu to rong jere to long gujo to kan gujo to then if no ma yezit zolina then jere to jo samakane trobu jo sa sama ota masami jo 텐라버지를 타로 공포 토시 탑때 사마송본다고때 송지 좀 되니 니들이서 니 탈람데 드니 물로 죽거나 코로 되게저 자서본에 드브즈를 티첼 드는 타드니 토지때 가르든 생기 추니도 톱성마도 공용 톱마성서 공제레도 납스는 야동 페 히가나치 두마르테 즈그니 키파 몽볼 자트니zo 제레주도 나마노 jagal tandaka 제레주도 지까시 주송서 공 나쁘스로 트라나리 요거서 그까로 간거서 남카라 카도는 년생송만 모두 마음자 대용해를 대소라 공르 트바티오 tene chere to tar ko konfose to hiega na chi dunga le torje chi takhi kandi yole rese a chor yamba ke ja hiema do Nonsen la son gomjo la yoles, panon kon la jor la tela nyinsen soma sorwa top do teni la cho ya pendo. Teni kong son te na ye chi mandus. Kate tandra la top chen chi to rozo tempen chi no taro na senchas tum me pa chi du ma gandu. Ndeda soma du ma go jinsen kare. Te na ye chi mandu kandi yana ase. Pe na khonru ko lo man cho to charwate Jungsung de ndare de sungji wosong kongru kichere jodo ta ti wosong chenpo re wosong chenpo mama tombo chere jodo hindu nyanglan pare wa kong chere jodo sungji de kong namba janche zondo chobo neren jan janche zondo te kesha tindu wa chere jodo cho ngijel mayo se cho gota lami marwa res cho lala ni yichi me mayo se teni kongru kisong ni wosong nga cho la kesha tina chogo res o tisa tina chogo re lo cho mato Ngi lala yuchi tepa yok tomozo sorwanda ngok dan de yores chota marias ya tenyan jichi teni ngi chola jichis unyanga chobo nerenza chobo ndromda de yor chundi paro tundro gana ngantana tuni ngi lala da zo onhu chimbola sorwata kuchinga chundi paro la yoro chizina la yogres teni te wosong labni te yog mares Yomana choron boko, yomana choron chago, yomana trucochi con rogo, tekan, taris, woson terevas. Lag roso da zosi yogerete, rongo mestorki masuna, chidi parola roto mandus. Ni chodete the super consum go janso reas. Super consum go janso, hiega nanchi, chuo chimboli, parol drogana, flato, la teva, sorde mamzu desica, tempentago mandu. Wrong mestor zo ta te na de te kon na ba hire te de woson te ate tante ni rik passage te kon habi yichi te kon jis juzre ba te da ure kon ke go na jere do sonji la nuto message mo sonji la hyangla message mo te kon ke go nga chola chedong chog zaza chi ni chola tarbo tatton tarwa rong chose rong kan gan cho rong zo te so nga cho bela te li seju ba Chere la manchen ta chende inarse mbose chere do chi charse li megawa yopate ronki drop megawa se gana to gana komma te gana chongche gana chaga de o lama yinanda opak menchen ta na deva chan homs ata lama to chi opak me to me zo ba oyo naso Patrul mo che tradition de ronki drop de tradition de phonomesin choma ka lama zombo tenso Cherindra Kumamba Yolere Kadu Tuna Rataba Chuk Jinde Jum Poati Kola Keshachi Trani Kandi Rindu so Rono so Kungareva Tan Chua Matopati Nazo Namjan Rajana Ludu Namba Yesejo Milu Tan Toka Sen Matopa Legend in Forum Nimisejo Tosola Lojonji Mazuna Natu Chutel Trononji Mandua Drubji to Trononji Metsa the Dramato Chu Matu and Chuate Tola Levon Wini Pentom ki chute mato jis kong yong ki marda teta tente ngamulo tukchi tambering tokhi hiziyan jiten di toni komo doziyan oya jiten ko top kosa kande yana oya kande gugu dis ta chonati menko no te chwa mato pe chongola legere judo to chaka kong yo pengo mandu Rong sang nondana ji dodo ji do dhamma dodo ji do sang nondana trotik ji do sang nondana te chachi men dodu tanchi man chama ton ava amani ki zogre jena ava ami konyon taji yog mare jere zo ngacho ta momoshi chete ngacho nga tongse ngomala dundu mushi gebo kapu de sheson chi yore te kola pu mombor pu chewati yo lo chang kamagi gejore Teni pama kala manyan, te jere to nyama tila kola pogo tila chamba po shwa, chamba po de ko posa de lo nye za chen. Tani cha go de ndu chun chamba to. Teni te korum su to abu tundu chuma to ogo ko chi choshele se chol koton mes. Ma ka ka chen ton. Teni korum che yo chen ton. Teni aba jere ndu chunda ga za zone tomas. Teni te chen ton na shodo shere ba ta shetsa. 다 쇼차드나 다르죠 쇼르데 데 코르 체레주도 지 세몬을 짜는 단다 커리 코라제는 로그도 데니 포르지 그 딱지 건다 저다 되는 뜻도 요미 또 아비 추만디 둑대지데 추모 칼라는 냐리 말이 Teni Nangcho Piki Nyalama, Kungan, Duki take the candidates, Korong Taki, Koroti Hulok, Tado Sermon, Kesaki, the Dogle. Pen Tino Jan agitated. Not so connoting not poor Gopo, Pachapo, Pangama, Yundel Tepame, Lee gently made them. Chua told us let Nimatana, what you select. That thing you put on Poco Kandaki, Ninon Chamatia, not so pile la Tanda Yodi, Nahu Matandaka, Mushing Tonio, Colonial Yontanal, Shananka and Pearl, the Jujan City of the Zots of the past. Shatsoma, Parmakani, Danny Jetta Save. Nearing Sasan Toma, I choose the sake Jensen Trola, Drogo Dollars. There is legend in Chiomaka. Here the rest. The nature is a massacre, Tundrotana. Taga, Logi, Lotucho, Duncher, Tagom, yet Togumundua, Sal Crusade, Yingare Sharon, telling Komi Lama Sandron, Tanga, Gizoro, Kuchi, that should have a long time, that is sentient as a party, Trochi said, Titi Tonon Tassa said, Tacho Popo in the Tapujo, Mentajo, and Mentajo, Tachon Tupajo, Jaya Mundua, take up Tanala, Donald Dutch, Puntipa Jimena. Then it took long pomata, Dunha Pome Yolida, take the I'm just to talk to like quite a long time. I'm just to say is that in the children that are alive, maybe we need to take the responsibility ourselves. Maybe also in the brother or the sister in Tibet communities, also in our yellow hairs and all the my families. Sometimes we say, it's okay, I can't manage. No, we never like kind of this. And also sometimes some Dharma practitioner or like kind of the how to say it's like basic practitioners only kind of to pray, oh Lama think of me, oh Buddha think of me. But our own selves all the times doing the negative, maybe killing, stealing, sexual misconduct, all doing the negative things. Then is a Lama or the deity or the Buddhas, how they can to like send into direct pure land of enlightenment. I think it's impossible. This is a speciality of the like our Buddhist tradition. Even our peerless teacher, Buddha, he don't believe that. He saw that like kind of the rule of the suffering of the birth, all the sickness, death. And therefore he left from palace. When he entered into the forest, he met many like kind of the peoples, but like kind of even the like Hindu ascetic practitioners. And he asked to them to say, who can to make the freedoms from those kind of sufferings? And some like ascetic, the rishis, they say, don't talk too much. Go to in the forest to be silent. Look at the skies and to recite mantra, pray to the God or the deities can to help. And he said, I'm like difficult to believe that. Why? Because if God or something deity or something in the space, some this kind of powerful living the beings, look, still there are so sentient beings, so many sentient beings suffering. Why they don't to help to them, and where they are, only we need to someone to connect to them, then they help or what? And he says it's difficult to believe that. And then finally I just once, his story of the how to call the Wosum, the Ananda, not other one in Sanskrit, how to call the Kashapani. And Kashapani is a very great practitioner of the Hindu master. He is a Hindu man. And once is like the Kashapani was in the Niranjani, and then his Buddha's coming. He said, Kashapani, can I talk to you? He said, Kashapani says, don't come in close because you are atheist. You don't believe the like God. Don't come into it. No, can I talk? And then he said, okay, we can talk, but I cannot, I need to meditate. And then his Buddha says, can you tell me, and how to say it's like how the God or deities to support. And then he said, if I'm sitting here, that sitting in this side, river bank of the Nerenzani. I want to pray, to put faith, to say that God, please, can you transform from this river, the bank side, other bank. I don't move, I'm sitting like this. If possible, deity of the God said. And the Kashyapari said, this is not. Why? And this is impossible. You need to move. Maybe you need to yourself to cross. Or maybe you swim, or you need to take a boat. And then Buddha said, yes, that's right. That's my theories. Of course, maybe God or some deities given the condition, but we need to take our own responsibility. We don't take our own responsibilities. God or the deity or the Buddhas, how they can to help like this? Therefore, his enlightenment, he said, I found special methods, like kind of deep peace, luminosity. That is like kind of the really wonderful, I will show you. And the liberation is like a kind of the depends on the liberation is the yourself, sir. And therefore we need to take a responsibility. I'm just to say now to quickly, maybe it's like we're talking about the transference into the natural space of the Dharmakaya. This is the perfect view. This is a perfect view of the natural state. We need to receive the teaching, qualified teachers, to early a little bit to searching quickly them in the moment of the death. And that time is maybe we can to call to the father, mother, friend, sisters, 100 relative families surrounded. We cannot do nothing. That moment we have a little bit, qualifier or like education and strength in our heart. This one is help through the Dharma, and therefore it's like kind of this the view of the teacher or view of the purities. These pity instructions how we can to consciousness transferent into the natural state of the Dharmakaya is early to quickly to a little bit to make the familiars, and also the Dharmakayas to our consciousness like kind of the transferent into the Dharmakaya, and during the talking about Powa like this. Then later there is another. Okay, today is maybe this. I talk too much. Very sorry. Tan kesha mambo mon cheson. Diso tonton dik nora bomba manzan tana yajuzo sonam de tam jesu ba tonni de dan ba. Tungana de wala tu boyo so